Welcome back everybody once again for today's video of DIY investing. Now today I wanted to go through and give you guys kind of an all-around market analysis, looking at Bitcoin, looking at the dominance, taking a look at few altcoins, and just giving you guys a rough analysis around the entire market. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this is just because of the fact that there's a lot of stuff going on currently with cryptocurrency. Bitcoin has continued on in its dip, and it's gone lower than a lot of people were expecting. Now, I want to go through here and analyze kind of what I was personally looking at over the last couple weeks. Now, I tried to make a video for you guys yesterday, but I ended up getting the entire thing edited and then everything crashed. So unfortunately, I couldn't get you guys that video, but at the last update, we were right here, and we were kind of waiting to see if we were going to bounce up higher or we were going to continue down in this retrace. Now, one thing that you guys didn't get to see in that video was me calling that this was my first support here at 9100. And perhaps you maybe saw it in one of my last updates recently, but I know that I've been having technical difficulties with my laptop, and in one of the videos that I talked about this support zone, I think that it didn't get posted. But 9100 was my first real psychological support that I was going to accumulate, and we basically wicked down to that support perfectly, just barely wicked below it, but we got filled there. So I did have some nice bids getting filled in that time, and they're currently in profit on the way back up. Now, does this mean that the correction is over and we're about to go higher? Potentially, it could. If it doesn't go any higher than where we're at, specifically speaking, guys, this is going to be my three resistance zones that I have here. Now, my first resistance zone took us here at about 10,230 to about 10,130. So about a $200 gap. We broke up above this, and we're now retesting my second box that I have up here at about 10,700 to 10,500. So roughly $200 increments. And now we're kind of just sitting this resistance, and we're going to need further confirmation whether what's going to happen inside the market. If the bulls can break up and hold support, even if we drop back down a little bit lower, this looks like it could have the potential for an inverse head and shoulder, but we're just going to have to watch and see what the market gives us. Now, let's say that the market decides that we're going to go lower, and so Bitcoin starts dropping. Realistically speaking, my next target is going to be about 8,300, 8,350, right around there. And then my final target takes us at about 7,600. I don't think that this target of 7,600 is going to get met necessarily. I don't find it as likely. Now, really my main reason for that is because for a while now I've been talking about how I would start accumulating at 15%, and then at 20% I'd accumulate more, 25%, 30%, all the way down to about a 40% correction, right? So a 30% correction takes us to roughly the bottom of this last move that we saw, so 9,600. That takes us to a 30% correction. Now, I've been looking for a 30 to 40% sell-off for a while now, and I've been expecting it to happen, and in fact we are getting that. So right now is an excellent time to be buying and accumulating Bitcoin. Anytime you get anything below a 30 to a 40% retrace in a bull market, that's significant buying opportunity for you to really leverage yourself in an upcoming impulse that's going to follow. Now, 30% takes us here, 40% takes me of my next target of about 8,300, 83, 8,400, somewhere right around there is my next target at 40%. And I think it's possible that we could still have the potential to come back down and retest this level. We're going to have to watch and see really what the market's going to give us, but as of right now, it looks like we do have the potential to drop one more leg lower. Now, this is kind of just what I'm watching for on a shorter time frame. These are my three zones that I'm going to be watching out for. Now, do I find it realistic that we break and fall even lower than this? No, I do not, and that's just because of the simple fact that I believe that this market's going to be much more bullish than people are expecting. I find it less likely that we drop all the way back down, and even I think that 6,500 would be a significant reach. I don't find it likely that we're going to drop that low. Like I said, guys, I think 7,500 would be the lowest that I would look to target necessarily, just because of the fact that puts us at an over 40% correction. And if we compare this cycle to the last one that we saw, you know, in the last cycle we saw anywhere from about a 20% correction that took place here. I think this one was close to a 28%. 37%. So we do see these anywhere from about a 20 to a 40% correction all the way up in this cycle. And so this cycle is really going to be no different in my opinion. If anything changes, I would say that the dips become smaller and less significant, where we experience a lot more buyers entering this market. But like I said, guys, we're just going to have to really watch and see. But this is my Bitcoin update, just some quick analysis for you guys. Now, if we're going based off of an Elliott wave count, if that's something you're looking for, what I talked about in the past was that this was just a 3, 3, 5 correction. And so what we're experiencing now is the 5 impulse waves. Now, based off of this looks to be the 1 wave, and we're still working on the 3 wave. I have a couple counts for my 3 wave. This could be the completion of the 3 wave right now, and we're just kind of bouncing into the 4 before we make one more lower low. Or this could be continuation of the 3 wave. We just finished the 3 of the 3, and now we're going to drop once more. I find this count is starting to look less and less likely. I think more likely it's looking as if this could be the 1, this could be the 3, and then we'll see one more downside wave that could potentially take us to that 40% mark. But this is kind of what I'm going to be watching out for as far as my Elliott wave counts. This just looks to be 5 impulse waves down in the correctional cycle. Nothing to be worried about, just as a healthy correction in a bull market. Look to be accumulating in this time because you can make a significant return by buying these dips. Now, really, let's drop it to a bigger time frame. Same thing. Really what I'm watching here is just my zones. We got rejected at this 13.5 mark that I was watching. We dropped below that 11.5 mark that I was watching. I said that if we could break above and hold support of 11.5 that we would really start to FOMO, but that's basically where we topped out. And so now we're just having a healthy correction. Whether this thing's going to be 30, 40, I mean, has the potential for 50%. I find that less likely. We're just going to have to watch and see. But overall, great buying opportunities taking place currently. Now next, we're going to be diving in and taking a look at the altcoin market cap as far as dominance goes. Now, I wanted to show you guys this because this is just a perfect correlation for me that says we are very close to experience this alt season that I've been talking about for so long. Now, what I have here is a uptrending channel, and what you see is price oscillating up and down, back and forth in between this channel as it slowly grows upwards. Now, what I've noticed is the fact that every time we come and make a reaction to this lower trending channel, we get a strong impulse that takes us to this upper resistance level on the opposite end of the channel. Now, what this represents, all of these red circles right here are every time we've bounced off of this trend line and created a reaction or an impulse off of that, right? And so what that means to me is that this, every time we bounce off this trend line, it starts alt season, because this is the altcoins, guys. Every impulse you see is a previous alt season that has taken place. And so this is kind of what I'm watching out for right now. This is what I'm seeing currently. I think that we are very close to hitting this trend line that's held us for so long. Once we get a positive reaction off that, I do expect further bullish upside to continue as we make a new alt season. And so for you guys that are looking for alt season, this is a perfect indicator to show you like this is going to happen, and it's going to happen quicker than people think. Right now, what you're seeing throughout the entire crypto community, and a lot of times with these bigger traders, specifically Bitcoin maximalists, right now, everybody is writing off alts, saying that they're dead. And while it might look like that for the majority of them, I still believe that we're going to see a significant rally inside of these alts, right? And I think we could see something kind of like this move that we saw right here, where we make a little impulse, kind of go halfway up, drop back down to the trend line before we start a big cycle up. I think we could see something similar to this. I don't know, maybe we jump up here, drop back down, and then go up even higher for one final hoorah, kind of like that one experience. But something like that. I don't know. We're going to have to really just kind of see what the market's going to give us. But overall, this is a very exciting picture to have shown towards people that are looking for alt season, people that are expecting it to come around, people that are fearful that it'll never come around again. I have to say that I do strongly believe that we will experience that, especially in the bigger altcoins. Like it's inevitable that they start bouncing soon, in my opinion. Now, what I want to show you guys is next we have the overall Bitcoin dominance. Now, Bitcoin dominance is just finishing out its 1, 3, 5 Elliott wave up. Where are we going to find that short-term top? I think that my next target short-term is going to be right here at about 69-70%. I think that we're going to hit that in this initial impulse that we're seeing here. Maybe we'll see something like this. Prices impulse up to here, consolidate down a little bit before we break up and out of this, and maybe make one more final impulse up to about this 75 to 80% mark. Now, it is possible that we come up even higher than that, but I find that less likely just because I'm basing this off of an Elliott wave count, 1, 3, and then we're just finishing out the 5 wave, right? Now, based off of this 5 wave, let's make this wave a little bit different so it's easier to see. Minor. Okay, so based off of my wave count, this final 5 wave looks like something like this. This was our 1. We're working on our 3. I think our 3 can take us either below this resistance line, or we could even break above and above that for a short time, make the same little retrace, and then bounce up higher. Now, if the 3 wave breaks out of this resistance and then the retrace is us holding support as a flip, then I would expect us to kind of come up here and hit maybe 83 to 85%. I think that would be likely, but for right now we're just going to have to watch and see. Based off of what I'm seeing now, it looks like we'll see something like this before we have one final 5 wave impulse of the 5 of the 5. Let's change these colors up a little bit. And we'll see something like this, right? Just kind of what I'm looking at right now. Obviously, I'm only taking what the market's giving me currently, and I will adjust if things change, but this is kind of what I'm seeing for the now. Just things are overall staying roughly the same. It would also line up kind of with this resistance that we're seeing right here. That would also kind of play into that, I think. But there's just a lot of things telling me that if you look at this, you can see the inverse of the chart. Altcoins are going down while Bitcoin is going up. But this is the exact same as this. It's just inverse because it's altcoins and Bitcoin, right? But we're heading straight for resistance. We're coming at the end of our Elliott wave up. I do believe that we will experience alt season because if you take a look here, alts pump when Bitcoin dominance dumps. So every time, if you go and look at a chart of any altcoin throughout this time, you're going to see a major impulse that took place, right? And this is really the correctional phase that we're seeing right here. This one right here is our correctional phase. And throughout the altcoins, and now Bitcoin is coming towards the end, or what I would assume the close end to this initial rally up, and then we'll see another strong sell-off that took place where we will see alts really start to take off and make those impulses that we've been expecting. So this is kind of what I'm seeing based off of Bitcoin perspective, based off of the Bitcoin dominance, taking a look at the altcoin dominance as well. And now next, to wrap up the video, we're going to be taking a look at some altcoins, kind of showing you guys some analysis with what I'm seeing here. Now, I tried to make this update in my last video that I was trying to upload last night. Wouldn't work, so I'm going to talk about it right now. Kind of what we're seeing. And I've made the similarities if you've watched my videos or even follow me on Twitter. I made the comparison that this consolidation right here is very similar to the consolidation we saw back in 2017 before we went higher. So what I'm currently seeing now is a similar comparison, but takes us even further back. Now this comparison is going to be even more bullish, and I'm going to show you what I'm seeing currently. Now if we throw it back and go back down in here, drop it to a regular scale, we're going to see that we had this consolidation that took place, and this is the accumulation where you have the market cycle, prices crash, we have our first leg up, and then we go into this little accumulation phase. Now this accumulation phase, this entire move right here, looks identical to what we're currently seeing right here in this cycle, right? This cycle is almost the exact same. So now we're going to dive back down, and I'm going to show you specifically what comparisons I am looking at. Now for right here, you make this rally, retrace, and then we make this little double top type formation right here. And then we go into this sort of sideways distribution before we break up and out of that for a bull trap which fakes everybody out. And this technically is a bullish or a bearish 3 dive pattern. So you have 3 higher highs before a sell-off, and it's almost like a rising wedge type thing. But this is the bearish 3 drive. And it's also the same thing that we saw with the current cycle, roughly. Now, what we see here is we have the rally, retrace, double top. Prices kind of go into this distribution phase in the green. We mark up, break, have a fake bull trap, and then we fall back down and make another lower low. We actually end up breaking this trend line that held us too before we spring load and bounce way higher. Now, for right here, you're going to be able to start to see the exact same patterns playing out. Now what we see, cycle low brings us to here, we break up and out of that. So right here is our impulse. Now this is where you see the double top scenario. Now this lower high didn't quite top out to the same extent, but it's the same. We had a retrace, that retrace took us back out to rough estimates of all-time high or cycle high, and then we dropped lower once again. Now right here takes us to our green box. Before, what happens, let's drop this over here. What happens, we have our fake bull trap. We do the same sort of bullish 3 drives pattern, rising wedge, whatever you want to call it, before we drop lower once again. And so if we're comparing the 2 cycles, let's drop it back down in here, you're going to see the same similarities. And so really where we're at currently with consolidation is this final sell-off. The spring-loaded bounce that's going to catapult us into new all-time highs, right? That's what everybody's hoping for, and I believe that it's lining up almost identically with what we're seeing with the total market cap as far as dominance for both Bitcoin and altcoins, and we're getting that bounce. Now, keep in mind, guys, we are trending on this trend line right here, and I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if we see a stab momentarily below that. Maybe we come back down to 22 cents, maybe not even that low, maybe something like, yeah, maybe 22 cents. So we could even drop down a little lower than that. What if we drop to like 17 cents, right? And these are all possibilities that I think we should be looking out for. But overall, guys, based off of the market structure that's being painted right here, the comparison that I've made right here, and the real comparison that I just showed you back down in here, there's really a lot more telling me that this is still a bull market, that this thing is going to continue to go up. We might see a short-term sell-off, but we will go up again. Just hold true and have patience. So this is my XRP update. Next, we'll take a look at Tezos is another one that I've been watching. So really I see like 3 different examples. We have the bullish case, like I just showed you with XRP. We're seeing the same bullish fractals that have taken place previously. We have this, and now I want to show you one final perspective, which takes me back to the Wall Street cheat sheet. Now what you have in the emotional psychology is you have the rally, you have the crash, and then what happens is you start the new cycle after the lows, right? Now disbelief here is disbelief here. Now as you can see, after we have disbelief, we start the new cycle up. And what I'm seeing here is a lot of alts painting that picture. If I take a look at Tezos, you're going to see the same similarity. And let's make this a little bigger. So we had this massive ABC correction that took us back down here. We have tons of new volume coming in here, which tells me that new money has bought the dip and they're actively accumulating right now. And now this takes us to disbelief. Right here, this first little leg up, the first initial sell-off before we make the new cycle up. And this just looks a lot like Tezos to me. I think that we could be seeing something like this. 1 and 3, who knows if we go all the way to all-time highs. I don't know. We're gonna have to watch and see. 5, something like that. I don't know. I'm not trying to be exact. I'm just showing you kind of what I'm seeing here. This is really just that first leg up, the one wave, before we start impulsing higher. And so this is a perfect example of disbelief. Everybody's writing it off, telling us it's gonna go lower, when in fact right now is honestly probably the best buying opportunity you're gonna get. I don't know if we're going to stay much lower than this. I think right now is an excellent time to be buying any altcoin for the most part, but specifically some of these that I'm going to point out in this video. Now next we have my great Darrow. I love this coin. You could call me a Darrow maximalist. I used to make fun of people that would call themselves a maximalist of anything, but I really am hyped about this project. Strongly believe it's going to perform exceptionally well, and we're getting more confirmation as the days go by. Now, I originally started talking about Darrow at about $1.11. Bought my first Darrow, started accumulating at sub-dollar levels, and from here I'm just watching the same thing kind of unfold out. We had this major descending resistance that held us for the entirety of the bear market, and we've actually got a strong buy reaction, tons of new volume coming in, and we've broken out of this descending resistance with what looks to be a confirmed support and resistance flip, or diagonal support and resistance flip, I should say. And so this to me looks like we're about to impulse higher. This could be maybe the 1, this is the 3 before we go up and maybe test up here at about $2.70. But something like that is kind of what I'm watching out for. But Darrow is an awesome one, guys. I do strongly believe that this one has 1000x potential from roughly where we're at, or at least close to. And I believe that the people that are investing and accumulating this right now are going to make a significant return on investment over the next few years. People that are just watching this channel now, or maybe you're seeing this video somewhere a couple years down the line, I can't say I guarantee, but I have a very strong confidence that this thing is going to be one that people look back on and they see this video and they think, wow, if I would have listened, like I could have bought this way down in here, and it could potentially be worth hundreds of dollars down the future, which I think it will. But this is Darrow. You guys know I've talked about this a lot recently. Really excited about it. I mean, it's basically Ethereum, but completely decentralized, completely anonymous, takes all of the privacy of, like, you know, some of your favorite coins such as like Monero, but then implements them as a platform for issuing smart contracts, for creating decentralized applications, 12-second blockchain speed. Really, I think this thing is awesome and people should be looking into it. So that's Darrow. A couple other coins I want to talk about are going to be EOS. So let's drop it to a regular time frame. And we're going to see the same patterns. Like, this just throws me back to the disbelief phase where we made our first rally up, right? That's what it looks like to me. Many people are calling it a bearish retest, and it's possible. But this looks more to me like a simple disbelief phase. Look at this new volume that's come in here. It's possible that we go lower, but I find it more likely that this is just the first leg up before we really start impulsing significantly higher up. And so this is what I'm going to be watching out for, kind of just some things that I'm seeing. We're going to have to watch and see really what the market's going to give us, but as of right now, things are looking pretty good. For the most part, this still has the potential for a bearish retest, and I want to point that out. But I find that less likely that that's the case. We're going to have to watch and see, though. My guess is with Bitcoin going up and starting a new bull market, I don't see why the altcoins are just going to decouple and fall off. Now, let's go take a look. I don't really want to look at Doge necessarily. I want to take a look at Litecoin, because this is going to kind of follow the perspective of this disbelief phase. And this one even more so than in a lot of the others, because I can compare this chart a lot more identically. So what you see here are these two lows before we break that support and then make our final sell-off right here, right? Now this looks a lot like this: capitulation, anger, depression, right? You make these two bottoms and then you sell support and go for a lower low. Now crypto is going to be more volatile, so it's a lot more volatile than this chart shows. But we see the same thing: capitulation, anger, depression. And then what happens after depression, ladies and gentlemen? Disbelief. This is a sucker's rally. There's no way in hell it's ever going to go up again. People that are buying it now are stupid, when in actuality, look at all this new volume, look at this steady inclination, healthy correction before we continue up in this cycle of things, before we go much, much higher. So anyways, guys, this is really the update I had for you. Wanted to go over and just give you guys my rough analysis with virtually everything that's going on inside of the crypto market, altcoin, Bitcoin, dominance for both sides. This is what I'm expecting. If you guys like this video and found this video helpful, do myself a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. If you guys want access to my Discord server, click the invitation link in the description of this video, and there you're going to find access to that. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.